Hello, everyone. Today, I will recount one of the most shocking tragedies in Australia's history, the Anita Cobby case, a story that not only enraged the entire nation, but also changed society's perspective on crime and justice. Do you believe that a single incident can keep an entire country awake? An event that not only confused the public, but also changed the legal system, prompting the public to demand law reforms to prevent such things from happening again? Today, I will take you back in time to a cold night in 1986, where a young woman, beautiful, talented, and full of ambition, suddenly vanished without a trace. Her life was at its most beautiful stage, with a stable job, a love being mended, and unfinished plans for the future. Yet, after just one night train ride, all of that vanished. Her mysterious disappearance sent her family into panic, shocked her friends, and led the community to ask countless questions. What happened? Who was the last person to see her? And was there someone behind this whole story? When the first clue emerged, the police and the media immediately got involved, but they had no idea that what awaited them was darker than they had imagined. A truth so grim that even the toughest people fell silent. Today's story is not just a heartbreaking case, but a lesson in awakening, vigilance, and the unforeseeable consequences when the light of conscience fades amidst the darkness of ambition and a twisted way of life. If you're ready, join me in uncovering the case that Australia can never forget. Hello, you are watching The 13th File. Uncover what was never meant to be found. Anita Cobby, 26 years old, was a nurse working at a major hospital in Sydney, Australia. She was loved by colleagues and patients for her dedication, professionalism, and the radiant smile that always graced her face. Outside of work, Anita had once won a high-ranking place in a regional beauty contest. However, what people admired most about her was not her beauty, but her gentle personality and optimistic spirit. On the evening of February 2nd, 1986, after finishing her shift and dining with friends, Anita took her usual train home to Blacktown, a densely populated suburb in the western part of the city. She often called her father to pick her up when she arrived at the station, but that night, there was no call. Her family waited late into the night, but she never came home. At first, people thought she might have stayed at a friend's house. But the next morning, when the hospital reported that Anita had not shown up for her shift and still could not be contacted, her parents knew something was wrong. The family immediately reported her missing to the police. The search began quickly, as Anita was not the type to go anywhere without informing someone. Moreover, she had a very regular routine, always on time for work, calling home every day. Police checked security cameras, which were limited at the time, questioned people present at the train station, inspected public phone booths, and tried to find anyone who might have seen her that night. However, all clues became vague. When the police asked her father if Anita had any conflicts with anyone, he shook his head. She's a warm-hearted girl. No one hates her. The police did not rule out the possibility that this involved someone she knew, but all friends, colleagues, and even her estranged husband, John, had clear alibis. 3 days later, in the early morning, a farmer tending to his cattle in a field near the rural area south of Blacktown noticed unusual signs. His cattle refused to leave a certain area, standing around something. When he approached, the truth appeared, and he couldn't believe his eyes, for in front of him was the body of a woman, completely unclothed, with many wounds and bruises that disfigured her face. He immediately called the police. The police arrived at the scene, cordoned off the area, and began their investigation. Although they couldn't identify the body immediately, thanks to a ring on the victim's finger, confirmed by family, they knew for sure it was Anita Cobby. This information shocked the public. The media reported non-stop. People were alarmed, and her family was completely devastated. As soon as her identity was confirmed, the police began reconstructing Anita's route. They interviewed dozens of witnesses and reviewed reported cases in the area. A young boy and his sister provided critical information. They saw a white car parked late at night and a woman being forced into the car during a struggle. Other locals also reported hearing screams coming from a plot of land near the train station that night. The information matched, and the police concluded this was no longer just a missing person case. It was a serious crime. With the new data, They focused on tracking down the white car, described as old with faded paint. From the database of stolen vehicles in the area around that time, they found a matching car theft case. Notably, this theft was linked to a group of young men who had previously been detained multiple times for legal violations. Based on the gathered information, police narrowed down a group of 5 individuals: John Travers, Michael Murdoch, Leslie Murphy, Michael Murphy, Garry Murphy. All 5 were men with prior criminal records, mostly related to public disorder and behavior that seriously violated community ethics. When interrogated, they initially denied everything. But thanks to the cooperation of an acquaintance within the group, the police gradually obtained accurate information about what had happened. This person helped record a testimony that served as evidence for the investigation. The suspects were later arrested. A series of physical evidence, including clothing, the vehicle, and many other items, were found. These matched perfectly with descriptions from family members and witnesses. In June 1987, the trial of the 5 defendants officially began. All of Australia followed every word, every development. Under public pressure, media attention, and irrefutable evidence, the court concluded all 5 were to receive the highest penalty under the law at the time: life imprisonment without parole. Although Australia had previously abolished the death penalty, this was considered the harshest sentence at that time. Crowds gathered outside the courthouse, holding signs demanding justice. Many said they couldn't sleep for nights after learning what had happened. They want the court to reinstate the death penalty for these 5 criminals. The sad ending of this story is not only the loss of a family member, it also left a deep wound in the heart of an entire community. Anita's husband, after a long time enduring the pain, gradually found light through faith. He remarried, had children, but always carried the unerasable memory of his first wife. Anita's parents, instead of drowning in sorrow, founded an organization to support victims and families who had faced tragedy. This organization gained wide support, not only from the public, but also from the government, contributing to the creation of a center that helps children and adolescents overcome psychological trauma. Anita's name was given to a park in Blacktown, a place where people can come to remember, pray, and reflect. Small signs tell her story as a reminder to care, to protect, and to never ignore unusual signs. The Anita Cobby case became the subject of many documentaries, educational programs, and is mentioned in classes on law, psychology, and media. Anita's story is not just a wake-up call about safety in modern life, but also a testament to the power of justice, the unity of the community, and the human ability to rise from the depths of pain. Justice cannot erase loss, but it can light the hope that one day, darkness will have no chance to return. What do you think about the sentence given to the 5 demons? Was it deserved or not? Leave your comment below. Thank you for watching The 13th File. Uncover what was never meant to be found. See you again in another case.